Good evening, parents. Good evening. I hope you're well. It's so good to see you here. 85 of you on this Zoom call. Please let me know if you can hear me from the chat box. I'm so glad to have you here. Is it your first time to attend my webinars? Is it your first time to be here as a parent, or you are a repeat parent? Please let me know. Let me know if it's your first time to be here. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I will really, really appreciate. Is it your first time? Where you're tuning in from? As we give like 2 more minutes to other parents before we start. Thank you, Angie. We can hear you. Thank you. Rosebell says it's your first time. Boy says first time Nairobi, first time Nairobi. Utawala, first time. You are first time Rongai, Syokimau, Kiambu, Ruaka, Naivasha, Kikuyu, Tharaka-Nithi. I'm having first timers here. Oh my goodness. Thika, Syokimau, Nairobi at the river, Nakuru, Magadi, Ruaka. South Sudan is here. South Sudan is here. Karibu sana. Nakuru, Mombasa, Siaya, Kitengela, Katani. Oh, amazing. Gilgil, Nakuru, Kakamega, Kitale, Kisir. Amazing. Parents, I'm so excited that you are here tonight. And I'll let you know, I can see all those feedback coming through, and I'm so, so grateful that you're here, and I'll tell you why I'm excited. I'm excited to be here. Also, not forgetting my YouTube gang. I know there are quite a number will be locked out, so let me see if we are with them. They are with us as well. So please tell your friends if they miss to be on a Zoom, they can join us on YouTube. Will be there, so you can share also the link. I've shared it in our group, so you can also share it with your friends. So thank you. I can see parents from Embu, Mbita, Kisii, Meru. Oh, wow. Thank you so much. So most of you are new here, and that means I have to introduce myself all from the beginning, because I've been doing this. There are parents who have walked this journey of empowering their daughters for 3 years, for 4 years, others 6 years. Others I started with their daughters when they were in class 8. Right now they are finished from 4 in their university, and so if you're new here, most of you actually, I think 98% of you here are new. It's not too late. It's not too late, all right? For you to join in this gang, in this community of parents who are raising fearless girls, in all manner, all right? And so thank you very much for being here. I feel appreciated. Let me introduce myself quickly so that we can get into the business of the day. My name is Brenda, Brenda Karimi, and I support girls to be the best version of themselves. That is what I do on a daily basis, Monday to Sunday, everywhere that I go, just helping girls from age 8 all the way to 25 to be the best version of themselves. I want them to take charge of their lives, to enjoy their lives. I want your daughter to enjoy her life. I want your daughter to be the best version of herself. I want her to maximize her potential. I just get excited, when I see girls doing amazing things, believing in themselves, achieving their own small set goals, when they believe in their physical appearance. And that is what I do. I just cheer girls up. And that is what I'm known for. That's what people know me for, okay? But also, I work with parents who need, please note that I have highlighted that in red, who need to raise fearless daughters, girls who are well-informed, confident, and assertive, Okay, so those are the parents that I work with who need, because I can't do it alone. And in my programs, I don't come to teach you how to parent. Sorry, I'm not able to do that, because I understand families are different. We have different dynamics and we come from different environments. So I'm not here, or I don't teach parent how to parent their children. I just support them, because I have worked with over 10,000 girls in boarding schools, in day schools, in primary schools, in secondary schools, girls who have dropped from schools. And so I know their language. I pride myself in knowing that I understand their language. I know what they want. I know what they mean when they use body language. I totally understand them. And even tonight, some of the questions that I'm going to share with you are questions that girls have asked me over time. Okay. And I always tell parents, without any fear of contradiction, without any fear of being judged, with my experience, I'm yet to find a new experience from a girl, where you'll come and share with me your experience with your daughter, and I'm shocked, and I'm surprised, and I'm like, no, I can't handle that. Why? Because the adolescent stage is similar. They may have different experiences, but really the changes, the characteristics, what's going through their mind, what they want, it's similar. It cuts across. All right. So it might be different in terms of how they are projecting or how they are presenting their cases, but the underlying issues are all the same. So I am coming here to you first as someone who really understands the language, the experiences of girls. But also, secondly, I'm coming to you after interacting with close to over 3,000 parents and understanding where there is a gap. How do we need to bridge that gap? What do we need to do as parents so that we can have good relationship with our daughters, so that they can trust us, so that they can believe in us as parents, that we wish them well. Okay. And I know today we are talking about menstrual periods, but that's just a small portion of what I do, of conversations that I have with parents. I have conversation about communication, how you can communicate effectively with your daughter, and not a cliche, not 10 ways on how to effectively communicate with that. No, I'm talking about practical things, practical strategies, practical ways how you can improve your relationship with your daughter. And that's what most of the parents know me for, because I am very realistic. If it's not working, it's not working. If your daughter is disappointed with you, she is disappointed with you. All right. And because of me understanding their language and me, understanding their psychology and what they do and the interpretation of everything that they do, then I pride myself in knowing that, or saying that, girls really trust me. Okay. I have had experiences where girls will tell so much, so many secrets about their families, because they are trusting me, and they don't tell me so that I go speak about it outside. They share with me because it's something that is pressing them. It's something that they need to work on. If your daughter feels that she can't trust you because of 1, 2, 3, then that's where I come in, because then I need to bring sanity in her. And I started my programs working with girls purely. I wasn't bringing parents on board. I wasn't, dragging parents into my messy work and exciting and fun and boring work. I was purely dealing with girls. All right. But then, as I was working with girls, empowering girls, talking to girls and cheering them on and telling them their parents are the best cheerleaders, then girls started telling me, I can't trust my dad. My mom is a church elder, and so she can't allow me to have that conversation with her. And I was like, okay, I am not achieving what I want with girls. And so what do I need to do? I go to parents. All right. And that's now, I think I started having this program for parents, this is, I think, the third year, virtual programs, because I realized, if I have to achieve what I want with your daughter, if I want to achieve what I want with your daughter, then you have to know their thoughts. You have to know their pain. You don't have to know what goes through their mind, so that you can offer support to them. I also have programs that are paid, like I'm having a Raising Fearless Daughter program that we are now getting into the third week. This Saturday, we do it every Saturday in the evening. It's a 6 weeks program. I have a period party that is coming in December. I have another program, How to Have an Easy Life in Boarding School, and so I'm having quite a number of programs just to empower girls and to ensure that girls are having the best of themselves. That's so much about me, but also my interaction with girls, because I do virtual programs and on-site programs. I work with the wealthy, for lack of a better word, the wealthy class from in this country. I work with middle class and low class. All right. That means I'll go to Samburu, reach out to girls who are unreached, but at the same time, I'll have some girls here from, some prominent politician attending my class, because girls' issues are the same. The environment is different. The experiences are different, but what they are going through, the interpretation of their situation is the same. All right. And that's what I've come to realize. And that's why I'm here. Why? Because I know girls need this. Girls need you. I'm not able to reach out to all of them. But if you're empowered and you know where it's paining them most, then you can reach out actually to your daughter in a more comfortable way. And so today we are talking about menstrual health, but allow me to mention some of the issues that really girls are going through. Okay. There are issues on mental health. Again, in this class or in my class, I don't talk, the cliche kind of topics now that everybody's talking about mental health. And that's the reason that's why I'm including it here. Not at all. Mental health is a growing concern among adolescent girls. All right. And you may not think that your daughter is stressed or is depressed or she is anxious, but you may see some signs. For example, poor academic performance. All right. By the way, this class is not for girls. This class is not for children. This class is for parents. It's because I'm seeing there's a pretty girl here using Hailey's device, looking so cute. No, you just disappeared. I want you to be in my period party class. So this class is purely for parents. If girls are here, they may not really benefit much. So yeah, that's important to say that. So now mental health is growing concern among adolescent girls, and it manifests in ways that we don't imagine. For example, when you see your daughter performing poorly, the first thing to think is she's not working hard. She's wasting time. She got into a bad company. Those are the quick things to think about. Sometimes our girls are coming and telling us, you know what, I want to transfer from this school. And they're not giving you a good reason. Or you will feel that the reason they're giving is it's being cooked. So they just want to, to transfer from that school, and they act up and they keep on nagging you. First, they don't understand that actually transferring is very costly. Sometimes it comes from, withdrawing. They're withdrawing from family activities. I've had parents say, when my daughter joined Form 1, she was such a charming, bubbly girl. But now I don't know what happened. When she joined Form 2, I lost her. I really don't know what happened. All right. So sometimes they go through bullying in school, and bullying is not like hurtful. Sometimes we think about bullying like something that is so difficult. They are scratched, but some bullying is as simple as someone coming and telling your daughter, you're so big, and the following day tell them, you're so big, you're so huge, stop eating a lot. I had some 2 weeks ago, I had a case of a girl who was telling me that the dad bullied her when she was 9. You see the way as parents we can make fun of our daughter's physical appearance. You're becoming big. You really eat. Stop eating a lot. You're huge. You're bigger than your elder sister. And this girl was telling me that's really bruised her esteem, and she feels so bad that the dad made those comments because right now the girl is in Form 3. She doesn't take lunch. She doesn't take breakfast because she's afraid that the dad will make those negative comments. I'm thinking that the dad was not intentional, like I want to hurt my daughter. It's just the way you can make a comment. Hey, Joy, you're becoming so big nowadays. Hey, Joy, you need to work out. Hey, Joy, you need to, those comments, they really get into the heart of our daughters and they affect them mentally. Sexual grooming and exploitation. Allow me not talk about this because it is so rampant, especially in boarding schools, especially in our homes, in our families. And I have a class on this, and I'll let you know when we'll have a webinar for you parents so that you understand what really happens. Talk about friendship. It's very core. And I always tell parents, when your daughter hits 9, 10, 11 and adolescent stage, friendship, to them, friendship is more important than family. And I repeat, when your daughter gets into adolescent, friendships are very important, or friends are very important, more than you as a parent. And so when you tell your daughter, and it's not something that automatically happens. It's biological. They want to feel affirmed by their peers. They want to feel they belong. They want to feel loved by their peers. And so you cannot replace that as a parent. So when you say that when you tell your daughter to disengage from these friends, even if it's a bad company, know that it automatically affects her. Am I saying that you shouldn't let her know? Definitely no. But there is a better way, to do that. And the fourth one is menstrual health, misinformation. Our daughters are having, we call them myths and misconceptions about periods. Okay. And they are worried about so many things that we parents are not aware about. And I'll share with you some of these things that make them, get worried. All right. And I want to ask you at this point, I want to know, what's your greatest fear with your daughter? What's your greatest fear with your daughter? That's something that really scares you. You are afraid about. You don't know how you would handle it. Like that's something within you that makes you feel, I'm not so sure. God forbid that this may happen to my daughter. Please put it in the chat box so that I know that we are on the same page. Okay. My friend is not able to join because the meeting has yes, it has, because there is a YouTube link. What's that one thing that you're really afraid of? What is that? What's your concern as a parent when it comes to your daughter? What's your concern? Please let me know from the chat box. Talk to me, parents. Boy-girl relationship. I'm afraid of her being mistreated for being herself. That they will get into drugs, getting into a wrong opposite sex relationship. I think that's a concern for most parents. Please talk to me, parents. I want to see, what is that one thing that you're really afraid about when it comes to your daughter? What's your greatest concern? Getting into a wrong company. Keep them coming. Getting involved with the wrong friends, losing touch with her. My greatest fear with my daughters, exploring their sexual beings and talking of their boyfriends, premarital sex, being sexually active at a tender age, wrong company, drugs, her friends taking advantage of her, first menstrual cycle, the pain, sexual abuse by those we think should be protecting them. Thank you. Getting into wrong friendships, getting pregnant, drugs. I hear you, parent, and every parent has their own, have their own peers. I am a survivor of sexual abuse from my dad when I was 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years. And I talk about it so boldly, not so that you feel, oh, yeah, for me, oh, Brenda, sorry, hugs, we love you. No. It's because I got over that and I realized that there are so many loopholes that our girls get abused. And now the sad bit with me is I did not know that it is wrong. Whatever dad was doing to me at that time, I did not know that it was wrong. I thought actually that every girl goes through that. I thought it was a form of of someone showing you love and embrace. I thought it's normal, in as much as deep within me, I need, it feels odd because it was during odd hours or when nobody was around home. I knew for real, deep within me that something is not right here. Okay. But then for 4 years, I honestly did not know about it until I attended a program offered by a church, and they were talking about sexual purity. And in sexual purity, they talked about sexual abuse and what it was. And so I was like, oh my goodness. So whatever dad was doing was actually wrong. And to cut the story short, for 4 years, I did not know what sexual abuse is. And I want to ask you, does your daughter know what sexual abuse is? Or are you the parent who says, because my mom used to tell me, oh, do not remove your panty for anyone, do not remove your trouser for anyone, do not allow anyone to touch your legs, but still that information did not amount to it's what sexual abuse is. Okay. So even if my mom was telling me, keep yourself, all the sweet words that we use other than the exact word, does your daughter really know what sexual abuse is? Can she explain it? Can she know when she's being abused sexually? It's a yes or no. And not saying tabia mbaya, not saying do not remove your panty for anyone, not saying what sexual abuse is. I know our daughters are 8 years old, that's why you're here, but it happened to me and it has not stopped. I still have those experiences, and for them that joined the group early enough, that I shared some questions that girls were asking on rape. I shared on rape and LGBTQ. There are another bunch of questions that I've not shared with you parents, so that you see what our daughters are going through and we have no idea about. All right. So allow me to share some of the questions that girls have asked when it comes to menstrual periods. Okay. And realize or notice that I'm starting from number 10. So there is number 1, 2, 3 on menstrual periods. There is also, it's continuing from number 27. So this is just a glimpse of it. Okay. What do you do when you start periods and you don't have pads? Do you teach your child that? Do you teach your daughter what to do practically? Not, not telling her go to the nurse, school nurse, and ask her for a pad. Not telling her go to a female teacher and ask her for a pad. What happens when they are on a school trip and the only teacher available is a male teacher? What happens if she starts having a period and it's a male teacher, mathematics or English male teacher who is in class? What will she do? What if she goes to the washroom and she realizes she has some, stains on her panty? What is she supposed to do? Because sometimes our daughters, they have an information. And on my Facebook, I said, we are not going to talk about the basics about the pad, how to put. Of course, I teach girls how to use the pad, but that is basic. And that's one I'm sure every parent tells their daughters on how to use a pad. But what really happens when you've forgotten your pad, in the classroom, and you're in the toilet and the bell has rung and you have to, what will you do? Practical things that they need to do, and cases and scenarios. Okay. And you see that's the same question number 10, number 11. I'm also including the physical changes that happen. So what are the white stuff on your armpit, especially when hair has started to grow? Have you told your daughter? I remember there's a girl who was having a discharge, from her vagina, and it was black, as she described it. It was black, totally black, and it wasn't like period. And it said she was able to differentiate between periods and the black discharge, and she was so she thought it's normal. Okay. And what she was saying, it's black, black. Do you also tell your daughter what to expect when it comes to discharge, when it comes to hair? Girls are asking about breast cancer, number 20. 21, is it okay to take some drugs when you have period cramps? I happened to be in a particular school. It was a boarding secondary school. I was teaching, I was conducting a period party, and one of the teachers told the girls that when you are having period pains, please do not take medicine, because if you take medicine, you are showing God that you're not interested in being a woman. Ah. And then she continued to say that those period pains, the cramps, are signs that you are actually a woman and you are normal, and it shows that you are strong. If you take painkillers, it shows that you are not strong enough to give birth. I was tired. I was so tired with that, because I started asking myself, what other information do our daughters get? And when our girls are in school, we have no control over the information they get. The other thing is that they spend a lot of time with teachers in school. So what if you're having, one of the teachers has those myths and misconceptions about periods, or about sex, or about the transgender community, the LGBTQ community, and that's the information they are feeding our daughters, okay? And so there's a lot of myths, a lot of confusion, even amongst girls themselves. Your daughter gets the best information from you, but then in your circle, when they're discussing about periods, one girl tells her, you know what? I think I've not shared, that question is not here. But there's a girl who was told by her friend that if she's having period cramps, she needs to have sex. And once she has sex, the period cramps will disappear. Remember, these are information that you have no control over. And most of the time, our daughters will not come to you unless you started that conversation. And I'll show you how to start the conversation from the very, very basics. Our daughters also don't know the normal periods. How does a normal period look like in terms of color, in terms of the number of days, in terms of the pain? Which pain does she need to report? And not only to the nurse, but also to tell you, mommy, this pain is a lot. I'm not able to, because I've had cases where girls have gone to the school nurse, and the school nurse tells them that you are pretending. And sometimes even as parents, our daughters tell us, mommy, I'm having cramps, it's painful. And you tell them they are pretending. Are you them? Are you in their lives? Because also the other challenge I have with parents is that when our daughters complain about something, the first thing that we do is doubt them. Especially if you have had a past history with her lying or not being consistent. When she gives you some information, the first thing that we do as parents is doubt them. Are you sure? Are you not pretending? Can I give you, And because of that, then our daughters grow up not to trust us. So there's a lot of information that our daughters have. Sometimes they don't know if it's the right or the wrong information. But then why are we talking about periods and menstrual health at this time? I've had parents say, I just told my daughter about, pads, and I think they'll be taught the rest in school. And this is the gap that we are having. Parents are assuming that our girls are being taught in school. I know it's covered, it's somewhere in science, it's somewhere in biology, but the way our schools are, the population, the overload work that teachers have, do you think teachers will get into the nitty-gritties to address all the myths and misconceptions and everything that rotates or revolves around menstrual health and girls, or they teach to pass exams? Truth be told, because then if this was fully covered in schools, I will not be having this conversation. So parents are assuming girls are getting that information in schools. They are being taught, or rather parents are being also taught, because most of us, no one taught us, or were given the basic information. Basic information to mean this is a sanitary towel, this is how you put it, good. No one told us about cramps. No one told about the moods that come with the emotional changes that comes with the adolescents. Mood changing is not a faking thing. It is true that our hormones are changing. And so sometimes your daughter will feel so bad because, like, one girl during our period party, she said that, Brenda, I don't know what to do because when I'm having my periods, I don't want to talk to my mom. I am so rude to my cat. I just don't want to have even dinner with everybody. I want to stay alone. I'm like, hey, baby, that's okay. And helping them to be self-aware, then it makes it easier for them even to communicate with mom, I'm having my periods, I'm feeling so bad, so that you as a parent, you can know how to support them. The schools are just delivering the curriculum, whatever they need to do, the basics, the bare minimum, that is what they are doing. Religious institutions, organizations, and other churches and other organizations in the community, they are shying away from talking about menstrual health. They're shying away from talking about sex education. The farthest we go with this conversation as a church is no sex before marriage. But we also don't tell our daughters, what do you do when you find yourself in a compromising situation? We leave it at no sex before marriage. Okay, so what if they find themselves in that, compromising situation? What if they are hugged by a boy, in the estate, and they feel like, oh, I want more of that hug, I want it to prolong? Do you tell them what to do? Because these are the realities, parent. Before they get to having sex, there is a process. It just doesn't happen, from nowhere. Oh, we meet on the road, we're having. It doesn't happen, and you know that for sure, for sure. It is a process. So how do you teach your daughter how to draw boundaries? At what point do you now know that it's becoming risky and you have to go and you have to detach and you have, to leave that scene? So being very, very practical. So churches, religious organizations, we are not talking about this. But also community, it's not like our days when, our children were a responsibility of the community. Like, I would find your daughter somewhere misbehaving and I'll be so confident to punish her and bring her home to you and tell her what she has been doing. Right now, if I do that, I'll find myself, having a case in court. So even in our communities, in our estates, everybody, you take care of your parent, of your daughter. I don't want to be involved. All right, parent, is what I'm saying making sense? Or I'm just cooking my own story? I remember there's a parent, after I shared this question, she told me, oh, Brenda, you're scaring parents. These things are not the reality. Oh, Brenda. And I looked at him and I was like, okay, fine. You don't just believe it. Parent, are these things that I'm saying making sense to you? Can you relate with them? Have you seen them? Is it something that makes sense? Let me see the comments. My daughter started periods at 10 years. I have many fears, but my greatest is being sexually assaulted or being sexually active at an early age. That's a concern. I would also be concerned about that. I'm a stepmother to a lovely girl, actually, too, but she's turning to pity party. My fear is I might lose her to the world. She has been sitting quiet of late. That worries me. Okay, I'll address that. The realities on the ground. Yes, that makes sense. Parents, if you have a question, I've seen two that I need to address. If you have a question, please feel free to put it on the chat box. I'll address it as we move on. I have to move on very, very fast. So now, parents, what are some of the simple strategy that I use personally especially when I'm having one-on-one conversation with girls and I start this conversation anywhere? This is what happens. It's not miracles. It's not that I'm skilled more than you. It's just because I've identified some of the ways that are working and what girls want. So for me, I start from known to unknown. All right. And you can try it if you have never had a conversation with your daughter about periods. Periods, and you can apply it to any other conversation, maybe about sex and sexual education. Ask them what they know. You may not ask them because they may not, like directly say periods. You can start with something like, what are some of the changes that happens as you grow? Okay, what's the difference between a girl and a woman? That's a conversation that really excites me when I'm having it with my preteens, because that's what they know. A girl is small, a woman is big. A girl has no boobs, a woman has boobs, has boobs. I mean, they will say the things that they are seeing. Some even say a girl cannot drive, a woman can drive. That is what they know. And when you're starting from what they know, it becomes very easy, because then you will exhaust everything, but also it will help you know what they know and what they have been heard. The moment your daughter is able to walk and move out of your house to go and play with other girls, you cease to be the only influence in her life. And that is why sometimes you look at your daughter and you wonder, where did you get this habit from? And you get so irritated if it's a bad habit or it's a bad behavior. You get so irritated. But remember, you're not the only influence in the life of your daughter. Okay? So then, as they are playing around with other 8-year-old girls and boys in the estate, in the village, in church, in town, as they are going for those parties, you do not know what they are being taught. There is a different form of conversation that happens when girls go to the washroom. You see the way girls go to the washroom, like 5 of them. Let's go, all of them, they want to go to the washroom. That's the time they'll say, you have a white panty. Let me see your panty. Very naive. And conversations start from those points. So when you're starting from known, you want to know what information your daughter has. Even you're a teenager, you are a 17, 16, 18-year-old girl. Start from known. What do they know? All right? And this is a little bit off, but for your daughter with, maybe if you are here and your daughter is 17, 18, ask them what they know about contraceptives. Because I've also realized and I've evidence that contraceptives are being introduced in schools. I mean, that's a different conversation. Ask her what she knows about contraceptives. So you might actually be looking at your daughter and like, I'm afraid that she'll get sexually active. I'm afraid that, but she's actually using contraceptives. So she's past that stage that you're afraid of. God forbid, that's not what I'm saying. But what I mean is start from the known to unknown. What don't they know? Where are the gaps? What misinformation do they have? And this level helps you create trust. This is the level where you give your experience. You know, when did you start having your periods? What happened? Where were you? How did you feel about it? Now, parents sharing your personal story helps your children to know that you are actually a human being. Because some of our daughters look at us as superheroes. Like we don't make mistakes. We are never wrong. We have never been children. We are born responsible. And so because of that, they are not able to relate with us. But sometimes telling her that there is a point you messed your dress, there was a stain, a period stain on your dress, and it has to be true. There was a period pain on your dress and maybe some boys laughed at you, or any other experience makes them really curious. And in the process of being curious, that's when you also get to know what else do they know, or where are the gaps. So start whatever form of conversation you want to strike with your daughter. Start it from known to unknown. What do they know? And you may not like ask, now, Joki, what don't you know about periods? She'll tell you, I know everything. Or what do you know about period? Start by what you can see. Difference between a girl and a woman. And it doesn't have to be on a sitting. It can be progressive. One day you laugh about, women being big and girls being small, and asking us something like, would you want to be big like a woman? What are you afraid of? Something very easy, and it becomes very progressive. But also, when you're talking about known to unknown, there is also a step-by-step on conversation, how to go about it. And this is how it looks like. All right. The first stage is understanding the biological process. The second is personal and emotional understanding. The third is practical information and preparation. And the last one is ongoing support and open communication. Now, the challenge I'm having with our daughters and how we are teaching them about menstrual health, we skip stage 1, we skip stage 2, and we go direct to stage 3. So now this is a pad, this is how you use it, and your daughter is like, okay, so what's happening? Okay, so it's blood that is coming out. There's something that's called period. It comes out as red, red as scarlet, then now this is how you put, and then this is what you need. You need to have a period kit, you need to have some white wipes. At least I know 80% of girls who come to my period party class, at least they know there is a period kit, and they know what is inside. But ask them, where does that blood come from? What really happens inside of you? What are other changes? They have totally no clue. Okay, so why do we need to teach our daughters about understanding the biological process? There are myths and misconceptions. period blood is dirty. In my first period party class, there was a parent who was so frustrated because the daughter hated period blood. And every time she was in her periods, she would have stomachache, not because of the changes, but because she just cannot stand looking at her blood. She can't just, every time she's going to change her pad, she would vomit. Like she hated that blood. She knew it was bad. It was, it was dirty. She would wash her hands, until you feel for her. But helping them understand actually what happens in our bodies makes it easier for them to know it's just blood. Like, if you cut yourself, it's just blood that is coming out of your body. Also, this level makes it very easy for them to understand even ovulation, because some of the girls and even ourselves sometimes we are able to detect when we are ovulating, so that your daughter doesn't go to hospital during ovulation. So you are explaining really what happens inside our bodies as women. And it's at this point that you also bring the issue of sex education, knowing that at this level your 10-year-old girl who is starting her periods can actually conceive, and making her understand what really happens in your body using age appropriate. Is it too much? Definitely no. If they are having periods, if they are ready to have periods, they can absorb this information. And sometimes we look at them, we're like, oh, my baby, there's a girl who started her period at 8 years old, and the parent had not prepared her. She had never told her about anything on periods. And so she was so devastated, and I had to conduct a class for her alone, because the parent was like, this is her baby, this is my child, there's no way she'll start having her periods, at this point. Can you imagine an 8-year-old girl, having her periods, carrying pads, and she has to know what time, and sometimes parents will really come in handy because they use our phones to track the period days, all right? But what I'm basically saying on step one, let her understand. Remember, we said you are starting from known to unknown. Most likely, she may not really understand. There are several YouTube, animations. There are YouTube videos, animations on YouTube that can help you explain what really happens, because these are not the times that we used to be very, there was no information. You can use what is available to explain what really happens. Where does that blood come? Also, the biological process helps you explain the cramps, so that she doesn't think that we are doomed. What really happens? The contractions, where do they come from? And how can you reduce the pain? And the second level is personal and emotional understanding. What really happens when it comes to the emotional changes? What happens if they are moody? What happens if they feel they don't want to talk to you as a parent? Helping them understand that you're there to support, and they need to communicate when they are not okay. They need to communicate when they feel unsupported. They need to communicate, because sometimes girls will blot, like myself, I really blot a lot. Like, I don't have a meal on my first day of my periods. Suppose I'm a child and my mom has to force me to eat on that particular day, it's so uncomfortable. And so helping them understand what are the emotional changes that comes with that, what are the physical changes. Sometimes she may feel like not eating, and she can come and tell, oh, mommy, I don't want this. Sometimes they may have cravings, biological things that happens in our bodies as women. And we know all these things, but we are not able to transfer that information to our daughters. And then the third level is now the practical information and preparation. This one, I know it, you do it so well practically, but also tell your daughters that no one really knows when their first period will come. And also, it's okay if they mess up their dress, if they stain their dress. Tell them it's okay, because these things happen. Even when you are very sure of your calendar, sometimes you find yourself, oh, it has come 10 days before. So building that confidence before it happens, because you don't know the environment she'll be in. You don't know if she'll be with, boys. You don't know if other girls will laugh at her. You don't know if she'll be devastated. So it's like preparing her for the uncertainties, preparing her for the things that might happen along the journey. All right. And empowering that it's okay. But also this conversation level 1, level 2, and level 3 helps you to make her understand that even when she has a first period, before it stabilizes, it can take like a 1 year. So she may have a first period 1 month and she stays for 3 months without period, and she's not pregnant, parent. Sorry, don't be worried. But before it gets stable, it can take some time. But for some girls, it just picks up and stable consistently. But others is very it fluctuates. Okay, also talk about endometriosis at this level. Let her know the normal period cramps and the abnormal period cramps. Let her know the normal blood flow. How does it look like? How many times should she change a pad, knowing that sometimes there are those who have heavy flows and those who have very light flows. So at what point can she come and tell you, hey, mommy, something is not right? Because they do not know. It's their first time. And if you don't tell them, they may never know. What's a normal period? It's at this time also, parent, you teach your daughters to shop for themselves when it comes to sanitary towels or menstrual products. Okay. I remember for a very long time, I was using one brand of sanitary towel, and it wasn't serving me well, but I didn't know any other. Why? Because that's what my mom introduced me to. That is what she was using. And so automatically she buying me, bring me all the time I was in high school until after I finished high school, when I tried a different brand, and I was like, why have I been suffering all these years? Because the first brand was so heavy on me. It was so cumbersome. All right. Someone is transcribing please don't mess up with the recording. Yeah, so allow your daughters to try the product. Let them try various, let them try Cortex, let them try Always, let them try, Sunnygal, let them try all these other brands and teach them how to feel the one that is most comfortable, because you can't be buying your daughter a product that you're using, parents. And I know that's what we do. Let her know how to select. Buy the 4, the 5 product until she finds one that she is most comfortable about. Also teach her on how to read the labels. There are those products that have wings, those others don't have wings, others have scents, others don't have scents. How can she know if a product is affecting her? How will she be able to tell? Or she'll buy a product and it makes her itchy, and she doesn't know that it's actually the product. So please teach your daughters these small things that we think are so obvious. They are not so obvious to your daughter. Okay. What happens if she finds herself, she thinks that she had a whole packet, she's in school, but then she realizes it was stolen, or she doesn't have it, or she miscalculated? What really happens? I had also a girl who used to give to supply sanitary towels in her class. So she would share, not in a bad way, but just trying to help other girls in class. But then when it's her time, she doesn't have, and she'll be like, "Hey, mommy, I helped other girls." And you're like, "How can you help and you don't have?" So teaching your daughters also these survival techniques when it comes to menstrual health products, then assure her of ongoing support and open communication throughout. In case she faces any challenge, what does she need? How can she address you? Sorry, how can she address it to you? How can she, if you're not around, where can she get that support from? Let me see if there are conversation chats. Let me try to answer some few questions before I go to the yeah, there's a Tracy saying it's all making sense. I can relate. In my neighborhood, I go talk to the parents if I see their children going astray, but I take care of mine fully. Thank you for that. Are girls lazy to take a shower? What do you think? Are girls lazy to take a shower? Adolescence comes with so many emotional changes, including general body laziness. Because there's a lot that is happening in their body, truth be told, both mentally, physically, emotionally. There's a lot that happens in their body. I don't know for parents, for mothers who are here, if sometimes you feel so tired, especially when during ovulation or just before your period, you feel extremely tired for no apparent reason. You know, maybe you have not worked, you know, a lot, but you just feel extremely tired. Also at adolescence, that's why girls really eat a lot, because they need the energy, and even boys eat a lot because they need energy. So are girls lazy to take a shower? Not really lazy. They just need a little bit of pressure, because also their prefrontal cortex is still developing. That's the stage, that's the part of their brain that helps them in decision making. So they may think that it's not necessarily, why should I take a shower and I'm not going anywhere. So it's not a form of laziness or not. My daughter had a dark discharge. This was direct message for almost 5 days. This is like a month before she turned 11 years. Since then, there has never been discharge again. We are talking of something that happened end of August. You can okay, yeah. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes it can be and especially when she's about to start a period. And also parents, girls know that period is red, like red in color, like red my nails, you know, like red like that. But for real, we know sometimes it's not, especially the first your first period. Sometimes it can even be brown, sometimes it can be dark brown. So let your daughters know so that they don't get shocked. And if they stay some other months, like 3-4 months without having periods, because of course they are different, sometimes when it comes again, it can be of different color. So for this parent, I'm not a medic, sorry, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist when it comes to menstrual health. I just share information as I research and as I interact with girls. So if it cleared, I don't think there's any cause of alarm. But if it comes again, maybe you may need to contact a doctor or a gynecologist. It's very common we start our daughters with what we use. It's very common, almost 90, maybe 90%, because that's what we are comfortable with. And we assume that our daughters will also be comfortable. I suffered for 4 years. Yes, for 4 years. Yeah, Rosbella says you can get extreme fatigue without working. And so parents, if we really understand that you can get extreme fatigue without working, you know, when we are at that time of the month, then why do we sometimes think that our daughters are lazy? If she sleeps all day, if she would just want to sleep in, you know, wake up at 9 as opposed to 7 or 8, why would we think that they are lazy? Why do we sometimes think our children are robots? Why don't we look at them as human beings? You see the way sometimes you can be angry and you just don't want to talk to them. Why would you feel like for her she has to be active, alive all the time? Sometimes you go to work and you just had a bad day with your boss or with your colleague, and you come home, you just take tea, take shower, and go to sleep. So why do we sometimes expect our daughters to be different, like they cannot have a bad day? Sometimes she asks you a question and you just know that she has done anything wrong, but you just don't feel like talking. And you're like, we'll talk about that some other time. But if she gives you that feedback, it's a problem. So why are we looking at our daughters like super human beings, super angels, super, they should be ready to talk to us. They shouldn't be angry at us. They shouldn't be disappointed at us. They shouldn't, you know, they shouldn't ask us questions. You know, like your daughter coming and telling you, Mommy, I don't like the way you treated me at the mall. And that becomes an issue and become very annoyed. Why are we expecting our daughters to be different, not to be human beings? And I always tell parents, please, first, before you look at her as a child, look at her as a human, complete human being, not fully developed, but complete human beings with likes and dislikes, with feelings, with priorities, with ability to make a choice. Look at her from that perspective. Then it will even become easier for you to interact with her. It will become easier for you to know, actually, my daughter doesn't want to put on that dress that I bought. She wants to put on a baggy t-shirt, you know, some sweatpants and Crocs. and you are a church leader and she wants to go to church looking like that, you know. So it will relieve some pressure from you, laying so much expectation, your expectations in your child. Let her be the way God wanted her to be. Let her make choices. Let her feel that my mom trusts my decision. Let her feel like my mom believes in me. Okay. A parent is asking, this is inbox. My girl asked me what sleeping with someone means. How do I explain to a 8-year-old without going overboard? Okay. Where did she get that from? Sleeping with someone. Where did she get that? Started from. Remember, we said we are starting from what they know. So where did she get that from? How did that come about? What does she think it means? Is it sleeping with your brother the way you can sleep? Because sometimes she might be very extremely naive, but getting to understand sleeping with someone, or you're saying from the Bible, what was the context, and what was the context, and what happened after Abraham slept with Sarah. So what happened? You're starting from what you know, or what she can see, to what she doesn't know. And I would want to ask, does she know where babies come from? In your case where you're talking about the Bible, does she know where Isaac came from? Again, our daughters grow differently. Their brain develops differently. So there is an 8-year-old girl who will totally understand what it means, what sex is, what sleeping with someone means, how to, and there is another girl who will have no clue. And it's totally okay. All right. And so, parents, as you keep your questions coming, which I will answer in a few, I want to ask you some few questions. All right. Would you like your daughters to learn about menstrual health and early sexual education from a trusted and a caring source? Remember, you can only expose your child to someone you know, someone you believe in, someone you believe in their ideologies and what they stand for. All right. You have no control of what they're taught in school. You have no control of information they get from their peers when they are playing, when they go for birthday parties, when they are looking at those cartoons, the ones that you say you are in charge of, okay, or you're in control of what they're looking at. You have no control over that, but you have control. There is an element that you can control. Let your daughter be given the right information. Would you like that? Your daughter to get the right information, all the myths and misconceptions are broken down, so that when something is not right, when she gets another information other than the one that she got from the trusted source, then she can come and ask you, hey, mommy, we were taught in class by teacher Brenda ABCD, but there is our teacher in class told us ABCD. So then it becomes even easier for you. Would you love for your daughter to see periods as a natural and empowering part of her life, where she can just enjoy its period time? Yeah, good. Instead of its period, I'm sick, I can't do exams, I can't take painkillers, and she is sulky. Whereas you really know it's a mindset kind of a thing, because they grew knowing that period is painful. Would you love for your daughter to see periods as okay, I've repeated that, but would you love your daughter to be in an environment where she understands what really happens when it comes to periods and making choices of her life? All right. I am having a period party. Remember, I told you I have conducted a number 5 cohorts of online virtual period parties. Would you love your daughter to be part of a period party that is coming up on 5th and 6th of December? We break down all the things that I've told you. If you feel it's a little bit heavy and you don't know where to start, I am here for you, okay? I'll teach them about menstrual health, the basic simplified menstrual health conversation. What happens in our bodies? What are the changes, that comes with periods? What do they need to know about menstruation, the biology of it, not the complicated? Remember, it's for 8 to 13 years. Remember, for 8 to 13 years. And so it is very simplified in a way, in a very simple language that they can understand. What are the period related challenges and how to manage them? We'll talk about period pains. We'll talk about symptoms. How can they know that they're about to start their period so that they are not shocked? What are the symptoms? How do they look like? What are the tips to manage the discomfort, various discomfort, when you're using sanitary towels or using tampons? What are the discomforts and how can you manage them? The menstrual hygiene, what are the various products? And I always tell parents, remember, my goal is just to make sure that our daughters are comfortable and that they are enjoying life. I would be so sad that your daughter who really loves swimming cannot go swimming because she's on her period, yet there are tampons that they can use. Oh, I know parents will say, oh, tampons will break her virginity. That's a myth. All right. Oh, tampons will be discomfort. Have you ever used it? Okay, did you use the right size? Okay. So I would want our daughters to feel comfortable to pursue whatever kind of goals that they want without feeling that periods are limiting me. Like your daughter cannot go to play football because she's in her period and she has, cramps and she doesn't know what to do about it. Not at all. How to choose the right menstrual product. And at this time, I give girls an assignment of going to shop for their products, not with you, just taking them to the mall, maybe waiting or doing some other shopping and exposing them to that, that sector, that part where they're period products, the pads, the tampons, the menstrual cups, the tissue, the wet wipes, so that she knows how to shop for herself. But also we will address menstrual stigma, mates and mates. What are these things that they have been told that are not true? What are these things, information that they have that is not true? And we get to know actually what really happens in those in their circle or in their life. Okay, so this class is on 5th and 6th of December, and it happens at night from 7:30 p.m. But also the other important thing that you need to know, it's a period party. So the last day, the second day after the session, we have celebration. I allow girls to have cakes. And for the 2 days, they'll have their dress code, either pink, we do either pink one day, and another day we do red. Yes, it's virtual, but it has to be glamorous. Sometimes I see parents even making a whole decoration of their houses, and celebrating. Sometimes they even invite, other family members. But also what to share as snacks. Sometimes have cakes, others have, peanuts, others have soda, others have prepare, buy some KFC just to celebrate. And why do we do that? Because we want our daughter's mindset to change and to look forward to having periods or to enjoy the journey of having periods if they already started, so that they don't look at it like it's very difficult. But also there is a guided conversation that happens, I ask our girls to have conversation with their dads or their moms, whoever is around, or both of them, and their brothers if they're there, on matters periods. Why? Because I don't want it to look like it's a girl's thing, it's a women's thing, it's a mother's thing. No, she needs to know if daddy is around, daddy can actually support me when my periods come. If my brother is around, she can actually support. Like, I remember there is in one of the class, the brother told the girl, was I think a teenager, and the girl was 9, and the brother told her, I'll be taking you to the supermarket every time you want to buy sanitary towels. Parents, I almost cried, and that's the kind of environment we want our daughters to be in, where they feel supported, where they feel loved, where they feel taken care of. But this conversation needs to be guided. It needs to be needs really to be guided. And that is what we do in our virtual period party. Why is it virtual? It's because I want to reach to as many girls as possible. I also want you to be present. I know having you for 2 days, you as a parent, it can be a tall order. Like you've seen, I have parents here from Naivasha, from Bita, from Sudan, from Mombasa, Nairobi, Embu, and so I want you to be part of this journey. And that is why I call it virtual, because I allow also parents to log in so that they can have a feeling of what really happens, but also anonymously. You log in anonymously, not like if your name is Jane, you log in as Jane. Why? Because I also want you to be comfortable to see the kind of questions your daughters are asking, and that they not feel judged. Because mommy is there, I will not ask this question. So I want you to be part of this journey, part of this conversation, but also you understanding what language do I use so that you can continue with the conversation. And so for this class that is happening on 5th and 6th, I always charge 3,000. This year it has been 3,000 for the 2 virtual sessions: menstrual health basics, managing menstrual hygiene, and period-related challenges at only 3,000 Kenyan shillings for the 2 days per girl. All right. This is cohort 6. So I've done cohort 1, 2, or 3, all the way to 5. So this is the cohort 6. And please, parents, don't miss out for whatever reason. But also, I am giving out a bonus. Information about sexual education is scarce right now. And if it's available, it is not as we would want, not ideal as we would want. And I'm giving every parent a bonus of a comprehensive sexual education class. It's a class I did for adolescents, and it was going for 5,000. And I'll give it, it's for 3 days, but I'll give it to you for free if you register for this class. But also, because I've run also other programs, I am giving you also for free Healing Connections class for parents. It was about trauma and childhood trauma, and how we can support our daughters to be to heal and to have a healthy relationship with us. And all the bonuses that I'm giving you it's worth 10,000. So basically it means if you pay 3,000, you get all these bonuses. They are pre-recorded classes, so I'll just send you the link. You can listen for the comprehensive sexual education. Your daughter will be able to listen. We talked about all the changes that happens in our body, who is a girl and who is a boy. Because the issue of LGBTQ, there's a group that is really pushing that agenda. People are coming to our daughters and actually telling them that you are not a girl, because we thought it's automatic. So our daughters know that they are girls. And someone is coming with a different conversation. Who told you that you are a girl? Prove that you are a girl. And if our daughters are not grounded, then it becomes a little bit shaky. So I'm giving this for free, but I'm giving it for the first 10 parents. For the first 10 parents who signs up for this class before tomorrow midnight, I give them the bonuses, okay? These are the programs that I'm giving for free. Fearless Daughters, comprehensive sexual education for teenage girls. Sessions that can change your daughter's life. 3 days. The class was going, I ran the class last year at 5,000, but also Healing Connections for program. I had that a psychologist who helped us unpack what really happens. Let me show you what parents are saying. Parents who have paid for their daughters' previous classes. This is what one parent said. It was great to be honest. At first, I thought that 2K was a lot, but after the session, I must confess it was worth it. And what my girl got was more than 2K. This is last year. I was running the program at 2,000 before I made some improvement. The other parent said, "Thanks, Brenda. The 2 days program was super amazing. After day 1, my girl was looking forward to day 2. She has learned a lot, and the fact that she can go shopping and choose what pass she can use is what I am looking forward to." And she said, "Please give us sex education program." That is what I'm giving you parents for free, okay? The other parent said, the other parent said, "The session was enlightening, and my daughter, who was adamant to join, is asking about tomorrow's dress code." I remember this case. For this class, the daughter didn't want to join the class at all. She was 12 and she felt like, "Mommy, I know this information. I don't want to join that class. It will be boring. I've done so many programs." And I told the parent, "Okay, do this. Let her join the first class. If she doesn't like, don't pay." So the parent didn't pay, actually. I allowed her daughter to join the class, and then she paid later. And this is this is what the parent was saying. And she says, "I feel like you need another session to touch on sex and sexual abuse in a detailed way that will be helpful." Bless you, Brenda. So even in my class, the period party class, I always mention something about sexual abuse and how they need to create boundaries and at what level, in a very fun and exciting way. So parent, I want you to, I will share this in our group for you, them that are in our group, but I'm seeing someone saying, put the slide up for payment. Let me do that right now. I'm seeing some parents are already making payment. That's really good. Make the payment. Yeah. That's the pay bill. Once you pay, please send me your confirmation, because after you pay, you send the confirmation message. Then I'll add you up in a paid up group with other parents who will have paid. So parents, please, as you make the payment, because I can see some of you are already paying, I can see it from my phone. Let me address a question that one parent asked. Let me address. I hope you're getting value from this. Keep the payments coming. I'll share with you the bonuses. The bonuses end tomorrow for the first 10 parents. So not everybody. For the first 10 parents, I'm just looking for the question. For the first 10 parents who pay for their daughter, they get the bonus. LGBTQ content is all over social media. How do we have that conversation? Yes, thank you. You said mother hen. Yeah, that's why I said we have no control of what our daughters see. If they don't have gadgets, they will see LGBTQ billboards. They will see LGBTQ cartoons. They will have this conversation in their schools, and you'll have no control. The reason as well we are so worried about LGBTQ and what information they're getting, we are worried about sex, we are premarital sex, we are worried about anything that is worrying you, it is because partly you feel like your daughter doesn't have much information. For example, if you take your daughter through a comprehensive sex education, program where they are taught what sex is, how they can communicate about boundaries, how they can report if someone tries even to abuse them, how they can get out of a very tempting environment. If your daughter has been exposed to such, your fear will reduce. But because you know for sure she doesn't have much information on how she can protect herself, first, your daughter is not very confident and she can be swayed here and there. That's what increases the fear. It's just because it's the same thing when you are going, maybe when you are relocating as a parent. If you're relocating to a new city, you'll want some contacts, you'll want to do some research to Google and ask friends if they have a friend. You'll want to know which church is around, is there a police station? You do your research, right? And when you get there after the research, you are a little bit confident than if you didn't do any research. So information is powerful. When you know that your daughter has the right information about LGBTQ, it will be less of a concern. You'll just be, peeping in to check if she's still grounded on the conversation that you started, but also it makes it easier for her to come and share with you if she finds a contrary information. I'm just trying to, there's a question that I really wanted. There is a parent who talked about some of the things that they fear it's possible rape. Anytime I send her and she delays, or when she's from school and comes late, my greatest fear is being taken advantage of. But also, parent, I would want to ask you, for example, let me use an example of this parent who has shown this concern. Where is this fear coming from? And that's why I'm giving the Healing Connection class for parents, because it's helping us also to understand where are these fears coming from. Are we creating these fears for ourselves as parents, or is it really a genuine concern? Why are you not afraid that she'll lose her phone or she'll lose her books? Why is it rape? Why are you not afraid that she will, disappear? I'm just giving examples. Why is it rape? Why? What happened? Not only to you, but what happened to the environment? Are there cases of rape around you? Or I don't know, but I want also as parents to ask ourselves question, what is this particular one your greatest fear? Why not early marriage? Oh, because we think that one is far-fetched. That one happens in deep interiors of Kajiado and Samburu, where there are these NGOs and Marsabit, not in my child, right? That's the understanding. But then, why are we talking about this particular issue? And if we get to think about it, it really helps us to understand our beliefs and our 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 fears. There is a parent who has made the payment and you have sent me the message here. Please send it to my WhatsApp because that's how we'll be able to track it faster. Please send on that 0733179990. Send it to that WhatsApp. Kindly clarify on the age limit for the period party. I know the flyer says 9, but it's 8 to 13. 8 to 13, if your daughter is above 13, it's still fine if you feel she needs this information, raw information, because basically it's about periods and, a bit of sexual education. So if you feel your daughter is 14 or she already started her periods 2 years ago, but she needs this information, you are very much welcome. Unfortunately, the question I was looking for has disappeared. Okay, so thank you, parents. There is another program that I'll be having with you on sexual grooming. What I told you about sexual grooming and what it is all about and how it happens in our daughters and what we need to be careful about and how we can empower our daughters. If you realize in my programs, I will tell you what to do. But if you're not able to do that, that's why I'm having such programs, okay? Like the period party, so that I can support you. You don't feel helpless. I also understand, parents, you are working, you're busy. 8 to 5 with this economy, it takes a tall order. Do not be afraid of asking for help. Tell me, Brenda, I'm not able to have this conversation with my daughter. My schedules are crazy. Please, help me with 1, 2, 3. Do not be afraid to ask for help. That's why some of you parents go for training. That's why some of you don't, Google information. You want to go back to school and learn. You are seeking support. So it's okay for you as a parent also to seek support and to ask someone, I need help. And this holiday, there are quite a number of programs that are, going around especially in churches. I know quite a number. Please let your daughter go to those programs. You may not afford my programs. You may feel like, I don't have money. I would love Brenda to come to it, but I don't have money. But there is a free program in your church. There's a free program in your estate. Please let your daughter go and get this information. You cannot give your daughter information enough. If your daughter is able to access, if I was able to access this information when I was 8 years old, I would not have gone through sexual abuse. If I was empowered the way I was when I was 12 years old, to be able to speak for myself, I would not have gone through that. But because I didn't have information, then I didn't know better. So if you hear a program, there's a program in your church on self-awareness, let your daughter go. If you know there is another in a different church and there is a family friend, let her go. Your daughter cannot have enough information. And parents, I'm saying this from the experience that I've had with over 10,000 girls in this country. All right. So I'm advocating for your daughter. I'm telling you that your daughter needs these social emotional development programs. We have invested in their education from the time they were 3 years old. You have been paying school fees. Please consider investing in their social emotional development. All right. So I will communicate when you'll be having the next webinar on sexual grooming and what you parents need to do and how you can protect your daughter. Thank you very much for being here, and I really, really appreciate. Don't exit the group. I share a lot of information in our group and in my Facebook, and I'll be sharing it with you because I want you to be so much empowered, and I want you to to support your daughter as much as you can. Otherwise, thank you very much and have a very, very lovely night. Bye bye.